Okay, walk over here and say it's okay. All right, I want to talk to you about DISC profile, and I want to talk to you about how to use this in your business. And I also want to talk to you about communication dialects. And we've got 10 minutes, so I'm going to move at a pretty high rate of speed. If you have not taken a DISC profile, it's not a test. You know, people call these things tests, like the KPA. It's a test. No, it's not. It's a tool. The DISC profile is a tool, and what it does is it tells you how you're wired. And we're all wired differently. And when you really study this, you can tell immediately who you're talking to. In other words, this person's a high D, they're a high I, they're a high S, they're a high SC, they're a high ID. There's a combination of character traits, personality traits. And learning this is so critically important. Now, where can you do this? So go to Tony Robbins' website, and there is a free link for you to click on in order to complete the DISC profile. And in talking with John before class started today, I learned that they no longer give you the graph, which is unfortunate unless you upgrade. Now, I don't know, John, if it told you how much it costs to upgrade, but $100, it still might be worth it in order to be able to get my DISC profile graph that I got is like that thick. It's a lot of information, okay? So it might be worth it to get that and really study how this works. Now, a D is a driver. A D is someone who is focused on the task. I'm going to get this done. You better stay out of my way, because if you don't, I might steamroll right over you. They're direct. They are very much about focusing on gray areas in life. In other words, life is not black and white for them. Life is very gray. The first person who threw a curveball in Major League Baseball 100 years ago was a D. If they weren't a D, they never would have thought about throwing that curveball. You guys get that? Okay, they're a driver. They're direct. They're get things done. They also don't react to disappointment or failure the same way an S or a C would. In other words, a D, who cares? Next. An S or C might spend 30 minutes trying to figure out why that person didn't like them. That doesn't make them wrong. It's just how you're wired. An I is someone who is very social. They are super outgoing. They wear bright colors. You know that somebody is an I when you go to a party and they walk in wearing bright yellows and bright greens, and they just stand out. You go to a party and I would walk in the room. I'm here. Let's start. Right? And I likes to be in front of the room. I'm a 99D. 98I. I love being in front of the room. When I was at Mega Camp in 2019 and I'm on stage with Gary Keller in front of 12,000 people, that gives me energy. A lot of people would say, holy cow, I'm freaking out. You're going to be in front of 12,000 people? No way. Me? Put me up there, please. Matter of fact, my whole time I'm there, I'm like, Gary, can you leave so I can talk? High I. A high I is Vicky DeLuca. Yes. A high I is going to walk in their house and go, oh, I love that picture. That looks like it came from a trip to the Bahamas. The water's so pretty. Those shoes, where did you get those shoes? I need shoes like that. And and a D is like, don't care about the picture, don't care about the dog, just list your house. Doesn't now. don't be that person. Just be aware that that's how you're wired. That's why for me, when I need to slow down, it's very painful for me because I want to move fast, right? Monica and I will be having a conversation and I'll say, can you give me the high D version? Not the right thing to say. Not to your wife, who happens to be an SC. And I'm asking, give me the high D version. Now, Susan Scott, in her book, Fierce Conversations, said the conversation is the relationship. Write that down. The conversation is the relationship. Now, here's a potential problem for me, a potential challenge for me, because I'm a high D. If I'm not intentional about being in the conversation, I'm not going to build a relationship. And I always want to have high D conversations. In other words, if you come and talk to me, it's like, okay, let's get to the point. Come on, what's the point of the conversation? That doesn't work with everybody. Yes? Yes. Right. A high S is stable. They're consistent. They don't like change. They want everything to be consistent. They are caretakers. A high S would come to you at that party and they would say, Clarissa, it looks like you're cold. It's pretty cold in here, isn't it? I have a sweater. Would you like me to go grab that for you? A high D would never even notice that she's cold. It's
on them to get a sweater.
Right? You're cold? Really?
Why didn't you bring
Who cares? High S is going to be, let me go grab you a sweater. A high S is a caretaker. Now, a high C is analytical. A high C would walk up to you and count how many ice cubes there are in your cup at the party. You've got 24 ice cubes. 26 would make it 10% colder. That would be a high C. Now, they're analytical. Their to-do list. They've got a daily to-do list that they live by, and they love that to-do list, and they're going to make sure they live their life by that to-do list. A high C is a perfectionist with details. Now, if you're building a successful business, you need all of these people in your business. If you looked at the organizational chart of Keller Williams Realty and you looked at the different roles in our world, market center administrator, high C, right?
Yeah.
Have to be.
Yeah.
If you hire a market center administrator who's not a high C, they're not going to succeed in the job. If I'm hiring an administrative assistant, my first hire in that organizational chart of building a team, I want to hire somebody who is an SC. I want somebody who is a caretaker, who is going to slow down and pay attention to the details and notice that my seller needs more blank, that they're not getting blank, and they're going to stop and they're going to take care of that. They're going to customer service. They're going to stay on the phone with that person for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour if that's what it takes. We're a high D that would just drive them nuts. My wife, who is a transaction coordinator, SC, perfect for that role, she'll be on the phone with a customer. Now, remember, her customers are real estate agents. Her customers are also buyers and sellers. Her customers are title companies and mortgage companies. And she'll have hour-long conversations with them. And I'm at home going, holy cow, what are you talking about? And it's not just real estate. The next thing I hear her talking about is a trip that they went on, or a dog they just bought, or a new outfit that they bought. I'm thinking, why? Why are you talking about that? All I'm thinking about is next, I got to go get another listing. I don't have time for that. Not saying it's right or wrong, just be aware. Now, learning this is going to help you communicate with people more efficiently and more effectively. If I'm sitting across the table from you on a listing appointment and you're a high D, it's a different listing presentation than if you're an SC. Yeah. You guys get this? Mm-hmm. If you're sitting across the table from someone on a listing appointment and you've got husband and wife, one's a DI, the other one's an SC, talk to the SC. Talk to the SC, because they're the ones who need you to slow down and be detailed and care. High D doesn't care if you care. A high D, they just want to know how much is my home worth, how much is my home worth, and how much do you charge? I don't have time for all that other stuff. How much is my home worth, and how much do you charge? You can tell how somebody is by the way they communicate on the phone. You can tell by their outgoing voicemail. If I call Vicki, now this may not be true today, but back in the day when we had answering machines, remember them? And the family would all get around the answering machine. Vicki, what's your husband's name?
Richard.
Richard, and give me the name of a couple of your girls.
Alex, Sam, Maddie.
Alex, Sam, Maddie. So if we called Vicki, we would go, hello, this is Vicki and Richard. And oh yeah, Alex, Sam, and Maddie. We're not home right now, but please call us back.
God.
Hi. Hi. You call John Dietz's answering machine, you're going to get, this is John, call me back. Boom. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I want to transition to dialects. All of us feel loved and appreciated in different ways. Knowing this is going to help you communicate with people at a more efficient and more effective level. We are either puppy dogs, kitty cats, Tweety birds, or goldfish. Now, a puppy dog feels loved and appreciated through spoken words of approval. Good dog. Oh, you're such a good dog. Good boy, good girl. And they're wagging their tail and life is good. I'm a puppy dog. I could be at a speaking event. There could be several hundred people in the audience, and I could finish to a standing ovation and go and sit down next to my wife and ask her, how did I do? She'll look at me and go, John, are you kidding me? The entire room stood up. Everybody applauded. And you're asking me, how did you do? I need her. Spoken words of approval. Now think about your puppy dog at home. Your puppy dog responds to good boy, good girl, to you. Now the next door neighbor, the person across the street, or somebody visiting, they might wag their tail, but it's not the same as the person that they're connected to. They need to hear that from the person they're closest to. So do you, if you're a puppy dog. So do I. Now, here's the danger point right here with puppy dogs. Spoken words of approval is how we feel loved. It's how we feel appreciated. But if you know somebody who is a puppy dog, the opposite is also true. Bad boy. Bad dog. You do that to me, and I'm going under the couch and hiding for a week. Now, tell a cat, Bad cat. Bad cat. And the cat is looking at you like, seriously? Who are you?
Exactly.
And why do I care? Now, how does a cat feel love? Through touch. When a cat wants attention, they're going to come up to you. They're going to rub up against you. It's pet me. Let me know that you love me. They feel love through touch. Now, what's interesting is we all have a little bit of this in our life: dog, cat, bird, fish. We have a dominant characteristic and we have a trailing characteristic. I am a puppy dog with a trailing kitty cat. Now you watch sports, and these guys, almost every guy has a kitty cat, by the way. We all feel love through touch, okay? And you watch sports and they chest bump one another. They high five. They swat each other in the butt. They're feeling love and appreciated and valued through touch. You guys hearing me? Yeah. Now, Tweety bird. This one's really interesting, and this took me a while because I'm married to a Tweety bird with a trailing goldfish. And somebody tell Monica to watch this later. And a Tweety bird doesn't want you to. They could really care less about good bird. You're such a good bird. I like, really? Who cares? They don't want you to pet them.
No.
They want you to sit and listen to them sing.
Yes.
It is through quality time. Now, how do you show someone who is a Tweety bird that you love them? When they're talking to you, stop what you're doing, put everything away, and focus on them. Now, add in a few, how did that make you feel? Really? Then what did she say? Oh my gosh, you're serious. She did what? Oh my gosh.
That is so mean.
Okay. Tweety bird. Now, here's the other thing that's really interesting about this. We typically show love based on how we feel love. So Monica's a Tweety bird. And I'm sitting at my computer doing work. And she'll come over and just sit there and look at me. And I'm, what are you doing? She goes, well, I'm just spending time with you. I'm like, it's kind of freaking me out.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So
but to her, that's showing love.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you know how somebody feels love? Pay attention to how they show love. Watch this. Goldfish. They don't care if you talk to them. Good fish, bad fish. Really? Who cares? They certainly don't want you to pet them. They don't need you to sit there and look at them. All they want is they want you to feed them and clean their bowl and straighten the little castle.
Sounds like my kids.
They feel love through favors,
Oh, wow.
through acts of kindness. Now, here's a danger point with goldfish. If you're married to a goldfish and they ask you, would you trim those hedges? You know, they're really bothering me. Can you please trim those hedges? Now, the dog is like, what hedges? The high D is like, I don't have time for hedges. Meanwhile, the goldfish is feeling unloved because you're not trimming the hedges.
Interesting.
Now, I can show Monica that I love her by taking out the trash, by trimming the hedges, by pulling the weeds.
Mm-hmm.
Simple stuff. And for me, I'm like, For her, it's so important. Now, I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing because of things that they've done for me. Clarissa, you got a little bit of goldfish going on in you. Diane, you got a little bit of goldfish going on in you. This shirt is a gift from Clarissa and from Diane. They did an amazing job of celebrating my birthday this this past year, and acts of kindness, favors. Anytime I need anything, all I have to do is say we don't have markers, and the next thing I know, Clarissa shows up the next day with markers. Goldfish. You guys getting this?
Mhm.
Now, how can this help you in your business and in your lives? Talk to me, Diane.
So I have a listing coming up. The couple's older. And I've been communicating with them, and they're very fragile. And he said to me, I just don't know what to do with all this stuff, the boxes of things we don't want anymore. I said, oh, no problem. I have an organization, foster care, and they can use a lot of stuff. I'll just come pick it up.
Goldfish.
Mm-hmm. And so that's just me. I would do it for anybody, whether they're a listing or a friend or someone I don't even know. I would just do it.
Yeah. So here's a hint. If you want to show Diane that you care about her, do something nice for her.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. All right. So a couple hands up on Zoom. I'm just going to go in the order that they're across my screen here. Jessica, Topo, and then Megan. Jessica, you're on mute.
All right, still trying to figure that out. Thanks, John. So yeah, in my corporate life, we all had to take a disc profile and we had to wear name tags with our letter on the name tag. It was really great. It's not going to be this easy in the realty world, but the importance of it was to understand your own communication style and then adjust your style to the person that you're talking to. So you were able to see who are they on the disc profile, and then adjust your communication to make sure that you can, so that you could practice that trait, right? To be able to identify who they are and adjust your style to meet them where they're at.
Love that. I think that's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that, Jess.